Can't do it.
Before I start tonight, an administrative note with the severe weather, if we need to, the safe areas here at the road complex are right around the corner of the restrooms, the men and women's restrooms. I am required by law to inform the public that a copy of the Opens Meeting Act is posted on the wall to your right as you come in the door of the Real Building, Gary White Memorial Room. This meeting is being recorded. If your president wishes to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and speak directly towards the microphone the entire time you're addressing the governing body. We also have some speakers and interested individuals joining the meeting via video or teleconference using the Zoom platform as published in our meeting notification. If you are in our Zoom audience, please keep your microphone muted. For those who are wanting to comment, please do the following. For those joining us via the Zoom app or through your computer, please click on the raised hand button. For those joining us through the call-in feature, please press *9. This will notify our moderator, Mr. Randy Dunster, that we have a comment from one of our virtual attendees, and he will let me know that you wish to speak. I will then have him unmute you. When you speak, also please state your name and address. Now please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Oh,
Roll call.
Commissioner Sasaki? Present. Commissioner Whalen? Present. Commissioner Cheney? Present. Commissioner Sharp? Present. Mayor Beckett?
Present. Continuing on, roll call. You just, yeah. I was gonna do it again. Are you good? Are you happy with it? Continuing on with our 250th anniversary reflection for the council. As we covered last week and the week before, was the First Continental Congress, and then there was Lexington and Concord, and this brings it to the Second Continental Congress. As was decided at the First Continental Congress in September to October of 1774, delegates from the 13 colonies met again in Independence Hall in Philadelphia on May 10th, 1775, beginning the Second Congress. The Second Continental Congress functioned as the national government of the American colonies throughout the Revolutionary War. The delegates were responsible for coordinating the war effort. At the beginning of the war, the American forces were largely made up of independent militias and were relatively disorganized. The Congress created the Continental Army on June 14, 1775. Interesting enough, that was just 3 days before Bunker Hill, which we'll cover next meeting. And they appointed George Washington as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces 5 days later. And the Continental Navy was formed by the Congress a few months later on October 13, 1775. They were also responsible for diplomacy and foreign affairs. And they sending delegates such as Ben Franklin traveled overseas to manage relationships with key allies such as France. They issued currency, called the Continental Currency. They took care of economics and budgeting. And they also did administrative duties. Congress performed such duties as setting up the Postal Service, managing Indian and Veterans Affairs, administering maritime law, and addressing disputes between the states. Initially, representatives from Georgia did not attend the Second Continental Congress as they continued to have strong economic ties with Great Britain. They later joined the Congress in July of 1775. On July 8, 1775, Congress signed the Olive Branch Petition, which was the last effort sent to King George III. The petition conveyed the colonists' wishes to avoid further fighting and asked for a peaceful resolution of the conflict. The delegates also pledged their loyalty to the British, despite the government's actions so far. King George III refused to accept the petition and declared the 13 colonies as in open rebellion. The Second Continental Congress was attended by many of the most famous names in American history, including George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison. Typically around 60 delegates attended the Congress's sessions, and many of these men today are recognized as the founding fathers of the United States. All right, moving on to our consent agenda, we have 3 items this evening under consent: approving the minutes from the May 4th City Council meeting, approving the report of new claims, and approving disposition of claims set for the period of May 5th, 2026 to May 18th, 2026, and to approve a request from NCTC to use the Sunken parking lot again this year for the Central Avenue Cinema once a month from May 23rd to October 17th, 2026 from 7 p.m. to midnight. Is there any item which the Commissioner would like to pull down and do business for further discussion? This time I move to passage all 3 consent items. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney?
Yes.
Commissioner Whalen? Yes. Commissioner Osowski?
Yes.
Mayor Beckett?
Yes. Moving on to appointments and announcements. First, I'd like to bring the reappointment of Janelle Eilers to the Board of Public Works, where she has served for few terms and has graciously agreed to serve another term for the Board of Public Works.
Commissioner Cheney?
Yes.
Commissioner Whalen? Yes. Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski?
Yes.
Mayor Beckett?
Yes. Next item we'd like to do is we recognized a few meetings ago the slate of officers for the fire department. We now like to recognize our outgoing chief, Rob Schreiber, and his wife, Sally.
Sally, you don't get out that way. I'm glad to see you made it.
Yes, thank you.
Had a little bit of back problem, but he weathered the weather and the back pain. I'm glad you could take it with us. It's been quite a couple. They've done quite a bit for Nebraska City and quite a bit for our fire department. And first, I'm going to recognize Sally. So I want to thank you and your spouse here, this guy, for the service provided to the city of Nebraska City. I can imagine how tough life may have often been as you sent Rob out, knowing he may be in harm's way every hour of his service. What sacrifices you both made to help keep me and my family, our residents, and our city safe. I know that even though there were times that seemed unbearably difficult, you resolved to press onward because it was more than a job, it was a calling. And it was more than only Rob's calling, it was by default your family's calling. I know your pride as you hear, I know you were prideful as you heard about how Rob and the department rescued victims, consoled the injured, and gave hope to the hurting. I know your admiration as he shared how he fought a structure fire, diffused an intense, dangerous situation, successfully extracted a trapped driver or passenger, or inspired families to take steps to prevent the need of his department's service. I'm sure there are a few things you will not miss after April 8, 2026. Hopefully Rob's endeavors will be significantly less dangerous, and bunker gear will no longer be part of his necessary attire. On our tense moments of wondering if vacation would be interrupted with official calls, though Rob was supposed to be off the call. No more worries about unforeseen emergencies and the impact of family plans. No more annual frustrations of Rob preparing and presenting the department's budget request and hoping the council sees things his way. I also want to thank you for the many hours you spent maintaining and improving the Nebraska City Museum of Fire Department. It is a gem for our city and all of Nebraska. A beautiful living tribute to Nebraska's oldest serving fire department and the men and women who have served our city. My simple thanks are not enough, given your many sacrifices over the years. However, please know how much I understand that you and your fellow fire and rescue spouses are the true unsung heroes in every community across our great nation. It's been a pleasure working with Rob, and he's been the chief most of my tenures here, replacing Aaron Knucklehead Alan Dion. It's been a pleasure working with him and getting to know him and spending some time with him. And just recently, we had dinner, Kelly and I, with Sally and Rob. And as Rob mentioned, I think he said it was his grandfather that said, until you've done something for your community, you're not a community member, so you pass that on. And then stories about, running around the fire department, which I think is the old fire department for sure. I don't think you were there in 1868, the first fire department. Talk about running around as a kid, because he's a generational fireman. There's several generations of Shriners in there, and continuing on with you and the Romans, and continuing that lineage on with our fire department, so. Just want to honor you with a small proclamation and the recognition here tonight. In honor and recognition of Fire Chief Rob Shriner for outstanding service to the city of Nebraska City. Whereas because of the many important contributions that Fire Chief Rob Shriner has made to the city of Nebraska City, he is deserving of special recognition. And whereas Rob is a generational firefighter, following the footsteps of his father in previous generations, and started his affiliation with the department as a youth in the Nebraska City Volunteer Fire Department's youth program. And whereas Rob's dedication and commitment to fire and rescue continued as he rose through the ranks after joining Nebraska's oldest fire department as a full member on September 13, 1989. And whereas Rob was sworn in as Nebraska City's Fire and Rescue Department's fire chief in April of 2019. And whereas Rob provided the leadership necessary to create a department that is known for its effectiveness in protecting persons and property through community involvement and professional and rapid response, and for providing a safe living and working environment resulting in an improved quality of life throughout Nebraska City for our residents and visitors. And whereas through Rob's drive and commitment to ensure all members of the department receive training and up-to-date equipment, especially Pumper 430, and technology necessary to perform their duties in the department, has ensured the best possible safety environment for our staff and increased their effectiveness. And whereas Rob's professional conduct and devotion to fire and rescue have been made evident through his over 36 years of public service. And whereas Rob will not only be remembered for the dedication and passion in fire and rescue, but for his sage advice to the mayor, commissioners, and other city leaders and staff. And whereas Chief Shriner completed his long-standing career on the Nebraska City Volunteer Fire Department on April 8, 2026, spanning nearly 4 decades. Now therefore, let it be proclaimed, the City Council extends its heartfelt congratulations to Chief Shriner on his excellent career in the fire and rescue and the legacy he leaves behind. The council thanks Chief Shriner for his steadfast commitment to keeping Nebraska City a safe and secure community during his 36-year career, and to his dedication to the residents, the fire and EMS departments, and the city of Nebraska.
Thank you all, I appreciate it. And yes, I am a wounded duck, I can't hardly stand, so I'll make it short. I did bring my mother with me, who, she probably remembers me down in the old firehouse years and years ago. My sister-in-law's here, my cousin's in the back there, who is on the fire department. I want to take this time, I'm gonna make it short, this is really killing me. No, I have leaned on you for a while. I just want to thank the council and everybody, Perry and his staff, Randy, Chief Murray, everybody for what you've done for me. It takes a lot of people to make this go, and that's the way it's been, so I want to thank everybody, and good luck. I gotta sit for that.
I'm not sure who put you in for this award. Was the board or the director?
Youth Services Manager.
Tonight, we're going to recognize Chelsea Kaus, our Assistant Director for the Library, for receiving a national level award from the American Library Association. So I'm I'm just gonna read off their news release here because she hasn't officially been presented this award because they do it at their conference in June, their national conference. So I hope you get to go out there.
I will, yes.
Represent Nebraska City and Morton James Public Library. Chelsea Faust won the 2026 Ernest DiMattia Junior Award for Innovation and Service to Community and Profession by the American Library Association. This award, supported by the DiMattia family, recognizes a librarian who demonstrates leadership by anticipating emerging trends in services, products, and technologies that enhance the library's position in the community. The awardee also participates in community life with membership and volunteer service in a broad range of community organization projects. Chelsea Faust, Assistant Director, is being honored for leadership that has transformed the Morton James Public Library into a vibrant, active hub in the heart of Nebraska City, Nebraska. Her guiding principle is that libraries remain relevant when they actively engage and evolve with their communities. Faust's innovative programming, civic leadership, and deep commitment to inclusion has created a resource center that is vital for learning, connection, and community engagement. A library board member noted that she brings a joyful love for all things library, and her excitement is contagious. Mrs. Faust's focus on adult and intergenerational programming has resulted in a measurable increase in her community's use of library services. Library card registrations increased by 14% and circulation by 15% from 2022 to 2025. Program attendance has also increased 25%. Winter Palooza, a December holiday event, outgrew the library space in its third year. An ongoing collaboration with Nebraska City Humanities has brought musical programs, historical speakers, and authors to a small town audience. The winter's community involvement with leadership in Nebraska City and Keep Nebraska City Beautiful has resulted in partnerships with local sustainability organizations. A Little Bucket Brigade program allows citizens to check out buckets, grabbers, gloves, and a safety vest from the library to use while picking up litter. Ms. Faust currently serves on the Leadership Nebraska City Advisory Board. She is also an active member of ALA, American Library Association, and Nebraska Library Association. Her work resulted in the Morton James Public Library being named Nebraska City Organization of the Year in 2023. As one nominator wrote, the library staff has upped their game in bettering Nebraska City. They're always doing something new. Several nominators noted that Chelsea selflessly shares the spotlight with the library director as well as the rest of this incredible 7-member staff. The annual award, consisting of $5,000 and a citation of achievement, will be presented at the ALA conference in June 2026. I'll be somewhere fun.
It's in Chicago.
Chicago. Right. Great job.
Thank you.
Recognition you bring to Morton James Public Library and Nebraska City, and that was tough for even for a librarian. It's your state.
Oh,
You can
goodness.
practice for Chicago.
I don't have to give a speech in Chicago, I asked. Well, thank you. I am very surprised and humbled by this. Yeah, thanks for allowing me to do my job. Thank you.
Now move on to public hearings. This time I will open the public hearing to consider amendment to the redevelopment plan for the city of Nebraska City for a redevelopment project that will utilize tax increment financing for Good Life Agriculture LLC.
Oh, I will review.
No, I asked for the roll call twice.
I'm happy to start. I'm
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you, Allison.
I'm Allison Moore, I'm a partner at Klein Williams Law Firm, and our firm acts as to counsel for the city of Nebraska City. And I was just in front of the CDA explaining the project, so I'm gonna give an abbreviated version of my explanation, but I'm happy to elaborate and answer any other public questions that there might be on the project. But this project was previously approved by the city for tax increment financing on September 24th, 2024. And it's substantially changed since then, and because as they've been getting closer to implementing, so because it's been modified to such a substantial level, the community development law requires this substantial modification and requires us to go back through this full public hearings process. So that's why we're here today. And so this is really the same project that was approved, but scaled down and changed a little bit in size and scope. The original plan involved a salmon production and processing facility, and this revised plan is just the processing portion. The new facility will be substantially smaller than what was originally proposed, but still, 265,000 square foot. The cost of the building will be approximately $54 million, but with the equipment and total investment in the project, the redeveloper's total investment will be around $240 million, according to the TIF proposal. They've identified plenty of eligible TIF uses, over 15 million TIF eligible costs, and that includes grading and site preparation, bringing all the utilities to the site, and they're planning to undertake over 1.2 miles of concrete paving and those improvements weren't originally involved in the first project approval. So this revised plan is going to add significant street improvements beyond those included in the original plan, basically paving all the adjacent and affected streets in the area. It's anticipated, based on the county assessor's preliminary appraisal of the project, that the final valuation of the site will be $39 million approximately. So based on that valuation, based on their construction schedule, our projections show that the project could support approximately $6.5 million in TIF, and again, we have plenty of TIF eligible uses for that. So broadly speaking, we've got a scaled down version of what was previously approved, and the rest of our plan hits all those other required statutory elements and our required updated cost benefit analysis. So happy to discuss any of those things.
Council, any questions from our supporting attorney? Any questions from the public that you would like to ask of our TIF attorney while she's here? Thank you, Alice. Is there anybody else present who would like to speak in favor of the application, in favor of the plan?
Good evening, Lisa Walker, Nebraska City Area Economic Development Corporation. Obviously, we've heard all the benefits that what agriculture is going to bring to our community, so we would just like to continue to encourage you as a city council to approve this measure, and we're excited for them to break ground and come forth to Nebraska City.
Is there anybody else present that would like to speak in favor of the plan?
Geo Magazine 150 South 64th Road, so obviously we're in favor of the project, and again, happy to partner with the city, as I stated earlier. Certainly hope that the investments in the infrastructure encourage further development in that area, particularly the paving. I know there's significant dust constraints out there, and that will be nice not to cover in dust all the time. Any other questions for our team? Thank you for the consideration.
Anybody else present who would like to speak in favor of the plan? Is there anybody present that would like to speak in opposition to the redevelopment project plan? This time I would move that we close the public hearing to consider amendment to the redevelopment plan for City of Nebraska City for a redevelopment project to utilize TIF for Good Life Agriculture LLC.
I'll second.
Motion second, further discussion? Roll call, please. Commissioner Whaley?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney?
Yes.
Item 8, I will now open the public hearing regarding, oh, you're right, thank you. Commissioner Sharp, please. Thank you, Randy. I will now open the public hearing regarding the use of $36,000 of growth funds for the Nebraska City Museum Association for the museum asphalt plan for 2026.
He should be online.
Yes, Gene Schisler is on Zoom.
Good evening. Dean Schisler, 1423 First Avenue, representing the Nebraska City Museum Association. Firstly, I'd like to thank the community, City Council, Mr. Mayor, and Citizen Advisory Review Committee for your previous support of this program. We've been doing this for 17 years now, and it's a very unique, incredible thing we're able to do for the community and for the museums. And through this program, the Community Growth Fund provides funds for hiring docents and supplementing payroll at 6 of the museums here in town. Excuse me. There are 8 total that participate, 6 receive funding. Wildwood is city owned, and so they don't receive, and then Arbor Lodge opted out, but wanted to participate in the program still. And so, in exchange for providing that supplementary payroll funds, all residents of 68410 zip code receive free unlimited admission to all 8 Nebraska City museums, all year round. So this program specifically provides payroll for the main part of the season, which is Arbor Day to Halloween. And there's a minimum amount of hours the museums are required to be open in those times. So Arbor Day through the end of June, and in the month of October is Friday through Sunday, noon to 4. And then July 1 through end of September is Thursday through Friday, or Thursday through Sunday, excuse me, noon to 4. So we've got the expanded hours there in the middle. And this year we are respectfully requesting $36,000, which would be $6,000 per participating museum to help supplement that payroll and keep us open.
Thank you, Dean.
Lisa Walker, Nebraska City Area Economic Development Corporation. On behalf of the Citizens Advisory Review Committee, they met on May 4th to hear the application request from the Nebraska City Museum Association. And the recommendation is to approve the request in the amount of $36,000. The clerk would again like to remind the Museum Association that we would like advanced planning and marketing planning. They'd like to see a full plan for the next year when they come back in 2027.
Would that be put in the agreement with the marketing plan?
What I'm saying
It's
is
I think it's
just
just the
the,
annual report.
yeah, it's just the general information that's normally in it. Just something that the committee reminds every year that we'd like a little bit more advance notification of the request, preferably before the season starts.
That was unanimous, the clerk vote.
It was. Any other questions? Thank you.
Oh, yes, of course, the account.
It has
Account
enough money.
status has-
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody else present that would like to speak in favor of the request?
Doug Freely, 613 Wildwood Lane, Nebraska City. On behalf of one of those museums, the Lewis and Clark Visitor Center, I want to thank the council for the previous approval and growth fund for, it's really makes a huge difference, especially for our smaller museums. $6,000 is quite a help to those small museums who are running a lot with volunteers, but also have some paid staff, so they have their expenses. So I urge you to consider approval again for the 18th year. Thank you.
Somebody else present that would like to speak in favor of the application for funds?
Jeff Loman, 136 Overview Drive. On behalf of the Museum Association, we'd like to thank the council for the previous contributions to this program. With our small museums, we have very tight budgets, and with this money, it really helps us provide that money to our residents and keeping our museums open. So, thank you.
Ms. Deans, is there any possibility of the Mayhew County coming back online during this tourism year to be part of this, or? Do you not, Dean?
Dean Schisler, 1423 First Ave. I have been meeting with the board there at Mayhew. They're trying to get something going temporarily, and a lot of stuff in the works to get the cabin back in tip-top shape, and then do some sort of temporary display, at least for this year or part of this year, I think by Juneteenth. But as far as the funds for actually being open, it wouldn't be a part of this year. Hopefully by next year, there's some sort of established operating hours for them, and so we're in the process. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Okay, thank you. Somebody else present would like to speak in favor of the application? Is there anybody present would like to speak in opposition to the application? This time I move for closing the public hearing regarding the use of $36,000 in growth funds for the Nebraska City Museum Association for the museum past program for 2026. I'll second. Motion is second, further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Whaley?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney?
Yes.
Commissioner Sosky?
Yes.
Mayor Beckett?
Yes. Moving on to reports, first the monthly progress report from Good Life Act. What a great time for that together.
Yeah. Field day will be for Christmas. We're pretty gung ho on engineering and specifically on a couple different product lines. So I know our tip application, that's the salmon processing facility. We actually have a customer that is not quite over the finish line yet, but we're bringing the white fish line as well. Big difference, but we will also get some application for us. And it's being driven by customers' demand to diverse product spread. So in addition to that, we've been working with Marty and T2 along with TJ at our GC's office to work through the preliminary plat process. We expect to have something to you guys sometime in the next week. Move forward there. Any questions from council?
Anything holding you up from the city side?
Absolutely.
You got plenty of space for all that.
Yeah, we had, so we had planned to have a little extra space, knowing that things shift over time and customers ask for things that we didn't think about. So we had a 30 by 50 area, and that's not there, so now we don't have any extra space. couple of changes in there, but we're starting to schedule factory acceptance testing and kind of get that for water representatives go out to each factory, watch it put it on, probably easier to fix it there, than by the time we ship it here and realize that we're at this point. Not that correctly. Other thoughts, questions for Bill?
You said earlier your Imagine app was fully approved. That's great.
And we did get confirmation from, that no revision to that necessary, so we're still operating under that same plan. Furthermore, we are in conversations with a couple of local partners. We signed the actual confirmed agreement, all the styrofoam that smaller orders of fish come in. Fresh fish all styrofoam boxes. Our customers don't want that facility. So our partner that's agreed to install shredding equipment in the trailer in our facility. So all that styrofoam will end up in outlet collection versus just going to our neighbors to the north. So pretty happy with that.
Based on your 18-month construction window, what's the window of hiring employees in terms of?
Yeah, so we just hired our first sales gal. 6 right now. I would anticipate by the end of July, we're probably in that 15 to 20 range. And then, by next July, we'll probably put that 50. And then by January, we'll go into that 75 range. We're doing quick. Looking forward to it. Also looking for office space. So if anyone has the open office spaces, we could chat. Thank you.
Thank you. On to the treasurer's monthly report on city and utility financial holdings.
Treasurer's report, as of April 30th, 2026. Total city funds, $8,905,985.86. Total utility funds, $10,082,314.19. Total city and utility funds combined, $18,988,300.05. Note the general fund reserve has been updated to 16.83%.
2%. Better we go in the other direction. It's not to 35 by our council resolution, but we're moving in the right direction. So just keep it moving that way, Gary, Randy. And we'll look at 35 by the end of it. Any questions for Randy on the treasury report? All right, we'll move on to number 11, city administrator's monthly report on departmental activity and budget status.
Council. First round of budget meetings are complete. We met with all departments. We had some commissioner involvement. Things went quite well. Most of the requests that were increased or possibly increased were inflationary adjustments. There's no huge CIP formal requests yet, but there will be some equipment requests, but nothing like we've seen in the past. We will send out what we call the green sheet for them to submit their request. We'll have the department staff bring those to the second meeting. So the second round of meetings is scheduled for June 2nd, 3rd, 4th. They sent that out today for the specific dates and times for each department. And again, commissioners are welcome to attend those. As part of that memo that I sent out, the city council budget workshop is tentatively scheduled for July 20th through the 23rd, which is pretty much a mirror of what we did last year. And I think I mentioned in the last council meeting that there was some conversation about having to hold that sooner, based on, Halston's bill, but that doesn't take effect till 2027, so this year, it's kind of business as usual, so if you can check your schedules and get back to me, that way we can get out the, specific schedule. We'll probably just follow kind of the same, schedule that we did last year, with departments, in case people are gone or need to rearrange, just please let me know as soon as you can. Let's see, sales tax, I just noticed today that the, report for, it won't be last month, it's always 2 months behind, is still on pace. As a matter of fact, to date, it's almost identical to last year. The only difference is we're ahead about $15,000 from the previous year. So we're still hoping that that'll finish strong these last few months. Now we get into the summer especially. If it hasn't been mentioned or you haven't noticed that the website, the new website is now live. So we're taking bookings and so far it's working really well. Again, Katie and Marianne did an amazing job on that. We'll continue to tweak it and add pictures, updates and things. I know for severe weather or whatever, we tend to use the website and the Facebook still. So if you haven't checked it out, have a look at that. In the fire department, we hired Spencer Fire, is that how you say it? For our fire apparatus engineer, so we are, full staff in fire, and I believe EMS as well. With the exception of a paramedic that we've been dealing with one of the part-timers. But so far, we're doing better. We've had some injuries, and we have some people back, and so things are going well over there. Just a note in your packet, pool rec, reports, I think Randy, you handed those out there in the Dropbox, so run a little late because staff right now is chasing their tail. So I think golf, I don't think I got the golf report. It's already sent over an email, but I didn't see an attachment, so if you don't have it, I'll forward that on as soon as I get the golf report. On the budget side, we're 58% through. We did receive fairly significant property tax deposit right after this report was given. So that's one of the areas that if you look at some of the revenue line items, especially like in the admin revenue on page 19 of the report, it'll show that it's at 26%. So that'll start to change now that some of the property tax is being paid, and those collections will start coming to us. So that'll be boosted significantly in the next couple of months. Some of the salaries, we're just gonna keep an eye on, send something out to some of the staff just to keep an eye on overtime. Fire EMS, PD, just, we've had a rash of injuries, we've had some openings. Kind of same thing I've said in the past, but it's worth keeping an eye on, so hopefully we can start to recoup some of that a little bit, being full staffed. Let's see. I think that's about it for now, unless you have any questions. The only CIP project right now is library, and it's underway.
Still ready to close out
ARPA is basically closed, the report's been filed and everything's been extended. All that. Yeah.
Okay, moving on, at this time, the council will acknowledge receipt of utility financial report for the period ending March 31st, 2026, and acknowledge receipt of utility claims for the period ending April 30th, 2026. General Manager John Moore is here, any questions, sir?
steps in and recuse myself from items 14 and 15.
Item 14, resolution 3005-26.
Resolution 3005-26, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Nebraska City, Nebraska, approving an amended and restated redevelopment plan for the City of Nebraska City, Nebraska to implement the Good Life Agriculture Redevelopment Project. Recitals. A, the redevelopment plan for the City of Nebraska City, Nebraska, Good Life Agriculture Redevelopment Project was approved and adopted by the City Council of the City of Nebraska City, Nebraska on September 24, 2024, the original redevelopment plan. B, the Community Development Agency of the City of Nebraska City, Nebraska, CDA, recommended that the original redevelopment plan be amended and restated to reflect certain substantial modifications to the project. The amended redevelopment plan. A copy of the proposed amended redevelopment plan is on file and available for public inspection with the city clerk. C, the amended redevelopment plan includes a redevelopment project identified as the Good Life Agriculture Project, or redevelopment project, project that will utilize tax increment financing pursuant to Nebraska Revised Statutes, section 18-2147. D, the CDA submitted a question of whether the amended redevelopment plan should be recommended to the City Council, to the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Nebraska City, Nebraska, the Planning Commission. E, the Planning Commission recommended the approval of the amended redevelopment plan. F, notice of the public hearing regarding the adoption and approval of the amended redevelopment plan by the City Council was provided in conformity with the Open Meetings Act, Nebraska Revised Statute, sections 84-1407, the Community Development Law, Nebraska Revised Statute, section 18-2115 and 18-2115.01, and Nebraska Law. G, on May 18th, 2026, the City Council held a public hearing relating to the question of whether the amended redevelopment plan should be adopted and approved by the city. All interested parties were afforded at such public hearing a reasonable opportunity to express their views respecting the submitted question. H, the City Council has reviewed the amended redevelopment plan, the cost-benefit analysis prepared by the CDA, and attached to the redevelopment plan, the recommendations of the Planning Commission, and has duly considered all statements made and material submitted related to the submitted question. Now therefore, it is found by the City Council of Nebraska City, Nebraska, in accordance with the Community Development Law, Nebraska Revised Statute, section 18-2101 to 18-2158, the Act as amended as follows. 1. The project site, as defined in the amended redevelopment plan, is in need of redevelopment to remove height and substandard conditions identified pursuant to the Act. 2. The amended redevelopment plan will, in accordance with the present and future needs of the City of Nebraska City, promote the health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, and general welfare of the community in conformance with the legislative declarations and determinations set forth in the Act. 3. The amended redevelopment plan is in conformance with the general plan for development of the City of Nebraska City as a whole, as set forth in the City of Nebraska City's comprehensive plan as amended. 4. The cost and benefits set forth in the project cost-benefit analysis are found to be in the long-term best interest of the City of Nebraska City. 5. The project would not be economically feasible without the use of taxing and financing. 6. The project would not occur on redevelopment area without the use of taxing and financing. Be it further resolved that pursuant to the provisions of the Act and in light of the foregoings and findings, determinations, and amended redevelopment plan, it is hereby approved and adopted by the City Council as the governing body for the City of Nebraska City.
Thank you, sir.
I motion that we approve resolution 3005-26, the amendment to the redevelopment plan for Nebraska City for a redevelopment project. I'll utilize TIF incremental financing for Good Life Agriculture LLC.
Motion second, further discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Osowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Whalen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney,
Yes.
Mayor Beckett.
Yes. Item 15, resolution 3006-26, consider a redevelopment agreement for the city of Nebraska City, a redevelopment project that will utilize tax and finance, good life, and LLC.
Resolution 3006-26, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Nebraska, City of Nebraska, approving the form of the amended and restated redevelopment agreement and authorizing the Community Development Agency of the City of Nebraska City to enter into said agreement and issue tax increment financing indebtedness for the redevelopment project. Recitals. A, on September 24th, 2024, the City of Nebraska City, Nebraska, the city adopted resolution 2970-24 approving a redevelopment agreement for the Good Life Agriculture Redevelopment Project, the original agreement. B, the original agreement was executed by the Community Development Agency of the City of Nebraska City, Nebraska, CDA, and Good Life Agriculture LLC, the redeveloper, on or around September 24th, 2024. C, subsequent to the execution of the original agreement, the redevelopment plan for the project was amended and restated to reflect certain substantial modifications to the project, the amended redevelopment plan. D, the CDA and the redeveloper have prepared an amended and restated redevelopment agreement for the project, the amended redevelopment agreement. A copy of the amended redevelopment agreement is on file and available for public inspection with the city clerk. E, the city council has reviewed the amended redevelopment agreement and has found it to be in conformity with the amended redevelopment plan, the Nebraska Community Development Law, and the general comprehensive development plan of the city, and in the best interest of the city. F, the city council desires to approve the amended redevelopment agreement as the redevelopment agreement for the project, replacing the original agreement. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the City of Nebraska, City of Nebraska, that the amended redevelopment agreement between the Community Development Agency of the City of Nebraska, City of Nebraska, and Good Life Agriculture LLC is hereby approved. Be it further resolved that upon execution of the amended redevelopment agreement by the CDA and the redeveloper, the original agreement shall be replaced in its entirety. Be it further resolved, the CDA is hereby authorized to execute and deliver the amended redevelopment agreement with such changes, modifications, additions, and deletions therein, and shall they seem necessary, desirable, or appropriate for and on behalf of the CDA. Be it further resolved, the CDA is hereby authorized to take all actions contemplated and required in the amended redevelopment agreement, including, without limitation, the issuance of such TIF indebtedness as set forth in the amended redevelopment agreement. Such TIF indebtedness shall be repaid solely from the tax increment created by the project and does not represent the general obligation of the CDA or the city. Be it further resolved that all resolutions or parts thereof in conflict with the provisions of this resolution or to the extent of such conflicts are hereby repealed.
I'll make a motion, to approve resolution 3006-26, to approve a redevelopment agreement for the City of Nebraska City for a project that will utilize tax increment financing for the Good Life Agriculture LLC project.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is second, further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Whalen?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney?
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski?
Yes.
Mayor Beckett? Yes.
All right, item 16, resolution 300726 regarding the use of $36,000 of growth funds from the Nebraska City Museum Association for the Museum Pass Program for 2026.
Resolution 3007-26, to use funds from the Nebraska City Growth Fund in accordance with the City of Nebraska City Economic Development Plan. Whereas the City of Nebraska City has received growth funds through the City of Nebraska City Economic Development Plan created pursuant to the Local Option Municipal Economic Development Act, LD 40. And whereas growth funds for economic development are allowed Law 2 used for making funding awards to eligible businesses in accordance with the City of Nebraska City Economic Development Plan Program and governing regulations. And whereas the Citizens Advisory Review Committee and Program Director have recommended approval of the grant application by the Nebraska City Museum Association in the amount of $36,000 sought through the Nebraska City Economic Development Plan. Whereas the City Council of Nebraska City conducted a public hearing on the proposed use of growth funds, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Nebraska City that the obligation of growth fund is approved as applied in the maximum amount of $36,000 in grant funding to assist in covering expenses related to the Nebraska City Museum's residence admission program. The mayor is hereby authorized to execute all necessary and appropriate documents on behalf of the city and the City of Nebraska City Economic Development Program to complete the project funding for the Nebraska City Museum's resident admission program, contingent upon approval of the city attorney as to form.
Thank you, sir.
I'll motion we accept resolution 300726 regarding the use of $36,000 of growth funds from the Nebraska City Museum Association for the Museum Pass Program for 2026. So,
Motion is second, further discussion. This will be an immediate disbursement to the
Correct.
businesses. Any other questions, discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Whaley?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney?
yes.
Mayor Beckett?
Yes, thank you all who provided comment during the public hearing. Item 17, discussion / action regarding request from Nebraska City Creative District to use 6 picnic tables on June 5th and 6th for the Bluegrass Festival at the Nebraska City Veterans Memorial Park.
I'll make a motion to approve the request of the Nebraska City Creative District to use 6 picnic tables on June 5th and 6th for the Bluegrass Festival.
I'll second.
Motion is second, further discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Whaley?
Yes.
Mayor Beckett?
Yes. Item 18, discussion / action to approve the request to install 6 additional flagpoles to show the 6 departments of the defense, the 6 departments of defense north of the American flag at the cemetery.
Tom Gruen, commander of the VFW Post, 12 days left. I'd like to, put these 6 flags representing all the services in honor of the 250 years that the military has served, so far in this country. The flags will be a 4x6 flag. They're on a matching pole that exists out there now. This pole will be 20 feet tall. The flags will be encompassed in a sidewalk concrete, which actually cover about 49 feet. It'll be 36 inches wide, rebarbed in to it. We have the funds granted to us to do this project. We will maintain the flags between the 2 services, the American Legion and the VFW. They will stay, that you do not need any lighting on these flags. I think it'd be a big enhancement to the cemetery out there, and it goes from the current flag to the north. And I think you might have a copy there someplace showing it's a AI drawing of it, what it looks like. So I think it'd be a good represent, you can see it from all over the cemetery from there. Questions? The poles will be white, just exactly like the same one over there. Thank you.
I motion we approve the request to install 6 additional flag poles to show the 6 departments of defense north of the American flag at the cemetery.
Commissioner Sharp. Motion is second, further discussion.
Tom, in regards to lighting, is there lighting already there, or is that?
American flags require the lighting, the service flags don't require lighting. But the lighting that's there is 35 feet high, and it really lights up.
I guess what I was supposed to say, can't we do without one?
Wait a minute. Maybe one should be lighted too, that.
Motion is, any further discussion?
Do we have an option of?
You just have to notice which flag flies first.
By order of incorporation.
Which one goes up first, or is next to each other? I don't know.
Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Osowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Waitley,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney,
Yes.
Mayor Beckett.
Yes. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Bruce. Item 19, discussion slash action to approve a block party to be held on July 4th, 2026 from 3 p.m. to midnight on second floor, so from 21st Street to 22nd Street. This is a new one, so I'll put it in as consent. Appears to have all the right signatures and good stuff.
Okay, I'll, motion to approve the block party to be held on July 4th, 2026 from 3 p.m. to midnight on second floor, so from 21st Street to 22nd Street.
I'll second.
Motion is second, further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Whalen,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney,
Yes.
Mayor Beckett.
Yes. Item 20, discussion slash action to approve the request from NCTC to hold farmers market every Thursday evening from 2:45 to 6:15 p.m. from May 21st to August 29th, 2026, and use 8th Street between Central and First Ave. North of First Ave. Central Ave and north of First Ave. So, typically down in the parking lot and then towards First Corso. So, on those sides.
I motion we approve the request from NCTC to hold a farmer's market every Thursday evening from 2:45 to 6:15 p.m. from May 21st to August 29th, 2026, and use 8th Street between Central Avenue North and First Avenue.
I'll second.
Motion is second, further discussion. Is anybody here to speak on that? Doesn't? She's in. Amy, would you like to? speak?
Yes, I'm here, if you have any questions. We were looking over the last several months to change the locations, to make it a little more safer for our vendors and our customers, and we really like this spot after reviewing lots of spots that have been, suggested to us.
Okay. And Chief Murray gave the thumbs up. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sharp,
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney,
Yes.
Commissioner Whalen,
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski,
Yes.
Mayor Beckett.
Yes, thank you. Item 21, discussion regarding the pilot program to assess interest and participation in community senior center and the lower level of veterans memorial.
David Parch, 2016 First Avenue, and I've been serving on the board for the Nebraska City Veterans Memorial Building Project, and as part of that committee, we've had a lot of discussions about the use of the building, and we just want to bring this to your attention. It's a new use of the building. Our group served as kind of a collaborator for the community, just to get the discussion going about a senior center, and that's something that's been talked about and envisioned for a long time, and we just think that our building is a perfect place to host such a community center. And obviously, we've got costs involved, but we do have the ability at this time to at least start a pilot program for 3 months, trial session here to try to get something jump-started, get seniors active and involved interacting in the community, just providing more activities for our residents. And so our committee had just kind of served, as I said, as a convener. And right now, there's no organization behind the senior center specifically, so we're still looking for organizational volunteers to keep that going beyond the pilot program and make it a permanent activity. Right now, the Memorial Building project would be the host. So we're just allowing the space to be used at no charge. It'd be every Tuesday from 8 to noon. And it's really, we want to gear things toward the seniors, but it's open to everyone. We're not going to be limiting it to 65 or 60 or trying to come up with any numbers. Anyone who is welcome to come. We're going to have starting kind of informally with just activities. You can come and play cards. We're going to have some music available on a regular basis. Hopefully some live music, like a quartet come in and sing, just to do some type of programming. But it's really going to be just kind of organic and up to people to decide and be active and see what they want to do. And that's part of the process. Is we were originally looking at having a formal study done for the building and the senior center feasibility. But when we contacted the professional firms, we had only one actually submit a formal proposal, and it was about twice the cost of what we were hoping it would be. So at this point, we decided not to go with a formal feasibility, but to try to get a pilot program started and just, again, try to get more interest and activity involved. We've got a few folks from the community here as well that have been key players. Jim here, obviously, is a huge volunteer, and he's volunteered to be at the center Tuesdays from 8 to noon to kind of manage it. And Lisa's really taken the ball and running on some marketing and planning. She does have a commitment from the cardiovascular.
The Southeast Health Department.
That's the easier way to say it. The Southeast Health Department to provide some equipment, including some like blood pressure monitors and things like that, as well as cards and games and things to do to keep people busy. So, any questions? The group that's meeting informally, we meet first Monday of each month just to talk about it and explore things. And again, it's not a formal committee of any organization, it's just interested people. So if you're interested in talking about it further, every Monday at noon, we're meeting in the Legion Room of the Memorial Building just to continue the planning process.
First one will be June 2nd.
Yes.
8 to noon.
June 2nd, 8 to noon, and every Tuesday thereafter until we let you know otherwise. 3 months at minimum. Hopefully we can keep it going longer. And we'd like to build it up and have meals included, things like that. Obviously, it takes more and more organization and funding. We'd want to hire a chef and a program director. So we've got a lot of big ideas, but we've taken baby steps now and just getting the door open. So if you could spread the word and come and check it out.
I'll make a motion to
There's
approve.
no motion.
Oops, no motion. Okay.
That management, your space. Updates so we can help spread the word. Especially for some of us that get close to, not have to ask what a senior is anymore. And moving on. Item 22. Now introduce ordinance number 3143-26 entitled
Ordinance 3143-26, an ordinance to recommend sale and conveyance of real property located at lots 3 and 4, Depot Second Edition, South Nebraska City, Odo County, Nebraska, to E-True Earthworks and Construction LLC, directing notice of sale by publication and to provide for an effective date.
Thank you. I move that the statutory rule requiring reading on 3 different days be suspended.
I'll second.
A second, roll call please.
Yes. Commissioner Whalen? Yes. Commissioner Cheney?
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski?
Yes.
Mayor Beckett?
Yes. I declare the motion adopted by 4/5 vote of the council and the statutory rules suspended for consideration of said ordinance.
Ordinance number 3143-26, an ordinance directing the sale and conveyance of real property located at lots 3 and 4 Depot Second Edition, South Nebraska City, Otoe County, Nebraska, to P2 Earthworks and Construction LLC, directing notice of sale by publication and to provide for an effective date.
This time I move for final passage of ordinance 3143-26. Discussion? Already seen this a couple times. I ask shall ordinance 3143-26 be passed and adopted?
Commissioner Ray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp?
Yes.
Commissioner Cheney?
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski?
Yes.
Mayor Beckett?
Yes. I declare ordinance 3143-26 adopted and shall sign same in the presence of the clerk who will attest to the same. Item 23, discussion slash action regarding the sports complex rental house.
Mayor and council, we bring this to, council tonight, not only as an update, but to give permission to move forward with the process of moving the rental home. We talked about this in the past, we've had several discussions on our options, with this property. So what we present tonight is, basically putting the house up for a bid. We've identified kind of a 45-day window to advertise. We'll put the bid packet together upon approval tonight. If it is passed, I think we will get that packet out, or have it available for people who may be interested in purchasing the home. We have talked at length about setting the reserve or not setting it in the agenda or the info sheet. As part of the packet, we said that we would not establish a reserve, but that could be part of the discussion tonight. But the idea is, again, to have a 45-day window, and in that amount of time, we would let the renters know that they basically would have 45 minutes to vacate. Sorry, 45 days. Pretty quick. So, but we have been in talks with them, and we've been in the house, we have pictures, we have descriptions. So we're well into the process. And again, I know Commissioner Schmitz is here, Doug Freely's been part of this, and Commissioner Bailey and I. So, but once we get that established, the amount of time it'll take to move the house, if we award a bid, might be a little open as well, between maybe 30 and 45 days. So we had some very specific dates, but we want to leave that a little bit more loose in case we need a little bit of flexibility in that. We talked about if it is sold, and the buyer needs a little bit more time, if we need to temporarily, have it moved and it's still on the grounds, it might be a possibility, but, several moving pieces in this. We just want to make sure that we proceed, and get some progress on the site, to show that we are still working on the project in its entirety. This is one of the steps that was identified earlier. There's also discussion about more temporary space for soccer, but ultimately that's going to be where the parking is. But first things first, we need to present this and start the process of getting the house moved. If Nichols or anybody has any other.
I'm assuming that we'll put the notification in that we're accepting bids, so that bid would stipulate the time. Bids would be open and something's received by the city, and they have a certain amount of time to get that house off the first.
Correct. And that's kind of where that 30 to 45 days, and I don't know how long it takes to move a house, but, you know, we don't wanna wait too long.
But if your bid window's 30, if we're saying we're gonna put it out for 30 days.
Right.
The bid, it's kind of a tight timeline for buying a contractor to come in and do all this, but that you could then, once you're awarded it, you only have 30 days, you could be campaigning.
Right, yeah, and that's why we talked about maybe another 45-day window instead of the 30. After, is that what we mean, 30 after the?
I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna put it out there, and you're gonna have like 30 days or so to decide whether you're gonna put in a bid.
Mhm.
And we have a bid opening at what, it says, okay, you're now the owner of this house that's gotta get off the property. But up front, they had to know that they had only have a limited amount of time to get the house removed from the property. And I would expect if we receive some kind of earnest money during that time to show, to help them be motivated to move the house. What timeline will we think of that, or we discuss that?
We've thrown out dates, and that's the wild card, can you just know what's what a moving company's potential window would be, and then where it would be moved to, and if the foundation basement needs to be dug and poured, you have to deal with the contractor on the other end, if they have, so that's kind of what Perry was talking about, is, we can throw 45 days out there, but it could be a negotiating situation, but you don't wanna go too far, give them months, but it's, hopefully if they're motivated, but.
If that period's too short on the tail end to get the house moved, it may drop bidders out.
Right.
Give you more interest.
What's that? Starting.
Yeah.
Originally. 30 to 45 or 45 to 60 or.
It's a lot of time and time for us.
That's kind of what we were bringing to council as a discussion point. My opinion, that 45 to 60 day window, once they accept, once the bid is awarded. With, Perry mentioned that it's something that the house can be picked up and moved on part of the property that be developed right away. So they could relocate it, and then we could clear the area, because we are gonna need to clear the area where the house is at, with the trees, the outbuilding, and so forth. The house could be still kept on site, but it could be shifted to an area that's not gonna give them those reasons. If that's.
Okay, once you move the house, you're gonna have a big hole. Okay, so part of what we're gonna have to do is we're really gonna have to make sure that that hole is taken care of, because you don't want somebody, do all those things up, they get the soccer field, waters off, ends up falling in the big hole. You're also gonna have some buildings that are gonna be unattended, which now are kind of watched over by a tenant, but, letting people live in the house. And, getting those down may be something you wanna do relatively quickly, because you're not gonna want to attract many homeless folks and or, again, maybe children going into the area. If you burn them down, then you're gonna have a lot of rubber with dams and hardwood and all types of things, and so you kind of, get that kind of taken care of too. So from a safety and liability standpoint, I think you got it ready to move on to other items also. So,
We've also already had some discussion in that respect, talked to Chief Rucker about if the fire department want to do a training burn on the outbuilding, contracting with local contractors who already coordinate clearing that area, removing discussions, we put those discussions out there, we have a game plan. Again, hopefully by the time the bids awarded and we have a timeline from the potential buyer, then we can put those motions in place to achieve the contract. Whatever we can't do ourselves, we have to contract.
And then the other part of that is just paying for all of that other stuff that needs to be done.
At this point, we're hoping that whatever income that, is made by the purchase of the home will cover the expense of clearing the house. Tentatively, we have a $40,000 bid to, remove and, clear the land and so forth. And grade it, clean that up, so we're hoping that we can sell the house and cover the expense.
So in that case, I think we can get clear on the proposal, we don't have to accept.
No, and that's the danger that you have with the no reserve. That's the tough conversation that Gary had was, if the reserve comes in less than what we hope, it's still a no reserve, so it's kind of mercy of receiving the no reserve. I'm sure we can still reserve the right to turn down a bid, but.
Well, I'm just saying in that case, person is very expeditious, and they come in, they move the building, and all their stuff, all this work, done, and they can get enough money.
Yeah, that has to be considered with whatever bid we get. That's, I think it's important, as part of the process, to make sure that you understand, we have a disclaimer that we can reject the bid.
Let's say we do reject the bid, there's still a $40,000 price tag on removing the buildings that are there. So, and by that time, we probably would have already moved the current tenants, correct? So does it go back into a rental property, or do we continue to move forward as we're gonna find the funds to go ahead and remove all the buildings that are on the property?
I think at that point, we're gonna have to come up with money to ensure that, we have enough to clear it. If it just looks like there's no market to move the house, there are potential other options to, there's programs, that somebody would come in and remove it. They may give you a little, but probably not good enough. So, we've talked about some of the other funding options to that for you. Whether they're grants, foundations, whatever we need to get that money to make sure we have to put the property.
I'll make the motion to, put into place the, bid process to put the rental house and sports complex property bid on the window, the 30-day bid window for acceptance. We have a 30-dash.
Up for discussion, I think we need to do 30.
I'll second. Motion second, further discussion. So, I'm fine with moving ahead as long as we can refuse the bid. If the bid comes in high enough, then we're okay, and we can move ahead on everything to be expeditious. especially this budget year, is if the bid comes in too low, we are jammed this year. And we are jammed next year, probably, so.
Would you recommend that we bring, once we open the bid, bring the bid back to council for approval? Or,
No, I think in the meantime, we just need to maybe sharpen the pencil a little bit on how much we need to make the sit, because the area is safe. We're clearing the other buildings, filling up the foundation, and whatever that comes in, that we sharpen that pencil a little bit. And we know, we need to get that bid, get the house closed, and we can cover those costs. Otherwise, we refuse the bids, and we're in the same status we are now. I think we've got plenty of time with the winter snow, we can keep going month to month until all this happens. Does that fit with your motion?
Sure.
That sounds like a reasonable plan.
Any further discussion? Now, we need to double check legally, we can refuse all bids once we put it out.
Yeah, as long as that's in place, I feel like that's fine, maybe to your point, there's no money in the budget. You know, right? So,
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cheney,
Yes.
Commissioner Osowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharp,
yes.
Commissioner Whalen,
Yes.
Mayor Beckett.
Yes. I'm pleased.
7:46